like the ultimate good boy. So, yeah, let's get an introduction of everyone in Magoo. If you all want to tell people who you are.
Yeah, I'm Dave Magu, songwriter, drummer, vocalist, engineer on this record, and pretty much all the ones prior. Um, yeah.
Hello, I'm Ern. I do piano and vocals and some songwriting.
I'm Sam. I play bass and, write some songs.
I'm Cameron. I play saxophone and cry.
And I'm John, and I play guitar, and I do some vocals, and I was going to say I sing, but vocals is singing, so so yeah, that's about it.
Cool. So, and fourth is Cal. He's a piece of shit. That's nice. No, fourth is great.
Bass.
And we all know each other from playing shows and touring all over the country. So, we've met up in like some smelly vans, and that is how we know each other. And
yeah, I think first show, you all came and played Lucy's, right?
Yeah, we played at your house. We locked our keys in the van and had to have like a literal gremlin came to the place and got us out.
Yeah, weird night. We were having like a pool party after the show.
Oh yeah,
it was wild.
Pool. That pool is functional.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was at one point.
I was
right
real stickler about it.
Yeah,
Cameron was getting in at night late and not putting the cover on. And
yeah.
It was fun.
Good times.
It was a good pool. And so I mean, the reason we're here is y'all just did. You recorded a great record, and it's really funny because I randomly hit Dave up like out of the blue. I was like, I'm doing a lot of mixing and mastering and engineering, and if you happen to ever, hear something on the streets, it'd be awesome to work on something. And then you were like, well, we just finished tracking something, and we wanna have someone outside of the band mix it. So I was like, let's go.
It was good timing for sure. Yeah, we I don't know. I mixed and mastered the last EP, the Renovate EP, and it was just from start to finish way too much on my plate. I don't know. I'm very proud of it, but it was a lot. So we all kind of decided that sending it off to mix somewhere else would be the best route, and it's always good to have someone else's ears on it anyways. So.
And it was the best route.
It was the best route for sure. You all killed it.
Yeah, and I think Summer is watching. Summer did all of the like horrible stuff that absolutely no one ever wants to do, and it definitely wouldn't be good without that. So that is we're talking about like tuning and like micro adjustments. There are so many just everything in insane level of detail, and that's all Summer. That is I would not I wouldn't pull up anyone other than Summer for detail stuff.
Well, it shows end product start to finish, and I mean, yeah, we didn't really know that they could really sound any better from the mixes. We were so happy with them, and then obviously you did your master magic, and we were just like, oh my god, like the mix just shines through the master. So definitely leveled up. I will say every step of the process should feel like you're hearing the record like for the first time again, and that's how I felt with the masters. It was just like, yeah, completely polished.
Yeah, it rules. So You sent you sent in the files, and you sent I think it was Caves or Cave. There was an album. You were like, this is our kind of our guiding reference.
Yeah, it's Antenna by Cave In. Hey,
I listened to that today, funny enough.
oh,
It's great.
yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, I don't know what you call it, like alternative rock, space.
Cave-In?
Yeah, like
I think like Taupe Rocky.
yeah,
like East Coast Taupe Rock.
yeah, East Coast for sure. I think they're from East Coast. But yeah, that's just another band I was in. Like we would always talk about like best sounding records, our favorite like sounding records, and like what we like strive for in like production and mixing, and like that record just hits it across the board. Like even if you're not a fan of the band, like can't deny that it just sounds massive, and it has these swelling ethereal effects, and it's just like we might not have done that on every song, but I think this record had a lot of that.
And we don't really even sound like Cave-In, but it's just something I know, like, at least for sure the three of us have bonded over. It's just like that kind of like gnarly
once we get in the van,
late 90s shit.
Once we get in the van and tour,
yeah,
Aaron and Cam will be subjected to it.
Yep.
Yeah, what I picked out of that is that the album that you sent, what you recorded and then your reference, I was like, this is just like a huge like guitar album, and like very very detailed mid-range, and like kind of pushed in that region, so that like everything, and very similar arrangement where like everything is just absolutely clawing for every single little bit of ground in the mids, and that's where it put my brain when I started looking at your session. I'm like, oh, I have to make every single thing absolutely pop to accomplish like this like huge sound that is incredibly aggressive yet still pleasant. I think it was kind of like the where my brain went.
Yeah, totally.
No, it sounds...
Totally, yeah, and that Cave-In record definitely is like a guitar record, and undeniably, there's a lot of great guitar work, and it's guitar-centered record that we sent you. But I mean, as you mentioned, like there's so many riffs and parts Sam plays higher on the strings a lot, like so like they're almost like sometimes like when I'm listening, it's like interchangeable. Obviously, I know who played what, but it's like.
From a frequency
between
standpoint,
though, it's
like, right,
and
we're definitely dancing on each other's territory quite a bit.
Tune lower than I do, which
I do, so.
But it's just interesting.
Scott, I don't know if Scott knows that detail about the guitar.
I picked up on it a little bit. The bass, like engineering the bass on this album was very interesting. It was on Pretty Cool where I figured it out. It's like, the bass is so important. I mean, in general, bass is always important in the mids to like really have it happen. But for these songs to work, it's like the bass is actually holding up mid-range, sometimes more than the like guitar rhythm part.
Totally, yeah.
Sam sliding up and down the neck, just fucking holding those.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry about that, but that's our style.
No, it sounds awesome. It sounds great.
I think it's great.
So first off, spoiler alert, I think that this album, the last track ends with one of the best guitar solos that I've heard in such a long time. And I think that makes the entire album is so worth it for it, and every single song in between. That's just like my personal thing.
So a little.
Thank you. You can
finish your point before we go into that, I guess.
No, that was my point. I just think it has a really good guitar solo.
So Insider, I don't know. Do you? Well, I'll let these guys talk about it, I guess.
I played the solo, but it wouldn't have been as great without Sam also playing the solo at the same time.
Yeah, when we were making this, it was like a lot of like Dave doing the hard stuff and the heavy lifting of like actually recording it.
We were in the studio for so long. Like we
did a lot of guitar and bass for like what 4 straight days.
Yeah, I think we did all of we did like the bulk of basic in like a week straight. But like we spent Dave did all the heavy lifting with the recording, and then I just kind of went nuts with John, just like playing with tones and pedals, and yeah, I guess
Sam has that ear where I can be like, what guitar, amp, and tone was on this, and he can pick it out. And so, long story short, on the Marshmallow guitar solo is what's the pedal?
it's like a Behringer Super Fuzz into like an Earthquaker Devices Grand Orbiter, but the trick they make that like the Locust like SVT feedback sound is that while John played his solo, I just sat in front of him and turned knobs on that, and if you go to this one setting, it does that chirp noise if you dime the rate. So that's that whole thing is like me playing with the rate and this like the rate and the feedback settings while John just rips the solo.
I love that.
Yeah, I think the last take is what we went with because you guys were dancing around with it, and we like. I know you did it like 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, we only did a couple takes,
but but I remember you both were just like, okay, I got this, but like, a lot of these times, like John improvises his solos often, and we cut a lot of this stuff live, so like. A lot of times it comes down to just like the feel of the take, and if John's like that was the take, then we just go with that take, and so it's another element of Sam pressing the pedals during the tracking of that solo. So every time I listen to it, I think I listen for that sound of that just like chirping, and
it's like collectively like one of our favorite parts of the records. Like that was like that one always feels nice to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. So. There's just so much happening throughout the process. It was so fun to work with all of these parts. Now you're releasing the first single on Friday, which is kind of like why we're doing this a little bit. So folks can find it at the Magu Spotify page. I think you can like pre-save it and all of that, and that's going to be coming out on Friday. Now this is an engineering stream, and I have your session up. I don't know what you're comfortable with. If I could like play a section or two or some solo.
Yeah. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, whatever's like.
We've heard it a million times, and like you have followers and people are watching this, so it's like I don't know, whatever you were thinking about diving into, we're just stoked that you the chat.
Okay, cool. If you don't mind leaking this to the